The Ministry of Timelines bears no official responsibility for the content of this research. Due to the repeated incidence of certain inexplicable phenomena across multiple timelines, further study has been mandated. The safety and security of Ministry 1 are at stake. The Googolplex problem must be studied and, if necessary, its cause confronted. What follows is a record of the Saurian Diaspora Timeline. "65 million years before Ministry era, the Lost Traveller narrowly avoided a collision with Earth. Instead, it became ensnared in the planet's gravitational embrace, settling into a long, elliptical orbit. 15 million to 2 million before Ministry era. Again and again, Earth witnessed the rise of sapient aquatics and saurians, each harnessing the resources of the Lost Traveller and other celestial bodies to embark on interstellar exploration. These civilizations, employing various propulsion methods like slower than light, short-range jumps, warp drives, and wormholes, traverse the cosmos at diverse speeds. Over thousands of years, however, each sapient species succumbed to barbarism, plunging into non-sapience, paving the way for a new dominant life form on the Earth. The dinosaurs' interstellar journeys were fueled not by expansion, but a primal craving for fresh prey, causing upheaval in primitive societies and the occasional species-wide extinctions. In contrast, the aquatic societies were cautious and long-lived. They expanded more gradually, unable to avoid the same fate. They ultimately succumbed to collapse like their feathered counterparts. 80,000 years before Ministry era. The wheel turns again as a new species of feathered dinosaur rises to prominence, shaping this planet's destiny once more. The Saiiban, descendants of Earth's raptors, fled from the planet's imminent ecological collapse around 3 million years before Ministry era, precipitated by the overhunting practices of the Saiiban themselves. They fled in search of new hunting grounds amongst the stars. While tracking a species that they called the Dagon across the cosmos, their culture was not immutable. The Saiiban adopted a cooperative and cunning survival strategy, weeding out the gluttonous, the individualistic, those that were not net contributors to the flock. Upon reaching Crater, a world reminiscent of their homeworld, the Saiiban initially feigned friendship with the Dagon, forging an alliance that masked their ulterior motive. Deceptive camaraderie led to the establishment of city-states, seemingly founded on cooperation, but concealing a darker truth. Exploiting Dagon vulnerabilities, the Saiiban waited. They orchestrated a systematic disarming, taking on the burdens of the Dagon until there were no more Dagon warriors, no more Dagon scientists, no more Dagon politicians. Over 10,000 generations, they were transforming the Dagons into an intelligent livestock bred for transitory pleasures, oblivious to their manipulated fate. An entire species subverted and disarmed, co-opted into being a new kind of prey. The Saiiban are now on the hunt for more species to care for. They have ventured back into space, outwardly advocating for liberation while secretly plotting to turn the entire galaxy into their farm. Behind toothy smiles and scaled handshakes, the Saiiban conceal a sinister agenda, ready to expand their predatory influence across the cosmos. The Saiiban Hunt had moved beyond a quest for survival and onto a galaxy-wide scheme for dominance, shrouded in the deceptive guise of cooperation. The Tsaagan Imperative, avian inhabitants of the planet Alpa, forged a society centered around their primal instinct, the hunt. Under the rule of the Grand Father, they rose to dominance, eradicating all rival species on Alpa. Now they seek new challenges beyond their home planet to keep the flame burning. The Tsaagans' culture intertwines hunting with spiritualism. Originally harmonious with nature, they worshipped a sun god and revered spirits and the animals they hunted. Despite industrialization leading to the establishment of great nests and the regularization of hunting grounds, hunting has remained a cultural tradition and leisure activity, fostering family bonds and traditions. The Tsaagan society has evolved into a dual structure: migratory populations alongside smaller nation-states with soft borders. The rise of a new charismatic leader with a dogmatic vision for the future of the Tsaagan united these factions. He toppled nation-states that would not unite under his common banner, and then formed a planetary government. With robust space programs already in place, the Tsaagan Imperative have now launched into space, driven by a need for new hunting grounds and potential prey. United and propelled by their leader's vision, they are ready to assert their imperative beyond the jungles of Alpa. Once an interplanetary species, the Emnitians faced regression and barbarism when cataclysmic events brought their planet, the Blue Pearl, into a closer orbit, evaporating their oceans. Wars erupted over the diminishing resources, driving rapid evolution and cultural development. United under the first god and inspired by whispers from the stars, the Emnitians used newfound insights, tactics, and technology to adapt to their dwindling world. With the oceans vanished, an empire has emerged. All serve their god, who in turn serves the voices from the stars. As the Emnitians project their own societal structures onto the ineffable workings of the gods, their first citizen, their god, aspires to climb the divine hierarchy. Eager to discover the identity of the voices, he seeks the patronage of higher-ranking entities, aiming to ascend the godly hierarchy himself. Dreaming of uncovering the god of gods, their leader envisions cementing his own godhood and then elevating his people to divine status. The Emnitian Imperial Church now sets out into the stars, driven by this ambition to ascend and worship entities that could lead them to the pinnacle of the universal hierarchy. The Kajime Corporation. Primary species, Galatheodea. This corporate megastate emerged from a tumultuous history on Uguera. It is believed that initially, great clan ships brought their ancestors to the planet millions of years ago. However, as more and more ships arrived in an unending deluge of new, hungry mouths to feed, disease, strife, and death haunted the planet. Now known as the catastrophic Great Dying, this stripped the Galatheodea of much knowledge and language. Through the deaths of so many, natural selection was hard at work. With the transformative power of carcinization, the Kajime reclaimed their ability to traverse the atolls and mountainous plumage of Uguera. They ventured deeper and deeper, seeking new living spaces and domains. Now, the vast majority of the Kajime Corporation does not frolic in the oceans, but instead subsists deep within the crust of the planet. Enduring the suffering gave them a unique perspective, rejecting cruelty and vowing not to let others in the galaxy suffer as they had. In the spirit of fair trade, kindness, and understanding, the Kajime Corporation decided to venture into space. Their starships, symbols of service and hope rather than domination, seek to share the bounty of Uguera with the galaxy. Kajime Corp have pledged to engage in trade, accommodating the needs of any customer, no matter how extreme. They embody the mantra that the customer is always right. This corporation now embarks on a mission to spread benevolence and prosperity throughout creation, leaving behind the scars of their tumultuous past. In the depths of Sorotsu's oceans, the Zelthari Union emerged. This society traces their origin to a scientific expedition sent to investigate an astral rift in deep space. Somehow, The rift destabilized their craft, and the Zelthari scientists then found themselves on a course for a habitable planet. With their engines crippled, they could do little as their starship fell from the sky. Many lost their lives in the crash, but some survived. As they explored this world, they discovered the planet harbored predators resembling Earth's saurians, an anomaly given the oceanic environment. The scientists were trapped in a nightmare. With no way home, the Zelthari faced the aggressive predations of these dinosaurs daily. Their survival hinged on adopting a militaristic mindset and developing a policy of sovereign guardianship to protect their people. The struggle against these creatures became a defining chapter in Zelthari history, prompting the cultivation of military prowess and defense. Centuries later, the Zelthari eradicated the last of these predators, making Soretsu a paradise. This freed the Union to once more aspire and look up at the stars. Now, as a united force bound by the principles of rationality and the survival of their species, they seek to warn others of the perils of astral rifts and find the rest of their race out there in the galaxy. The Zelthari Union is a formidable aquatic power in the cosmos. The blessed Tillan Republic, inhabitants of the aquatic planet Tillan, have always prioritized speed in every aspect of their society. Hyperdrive manipulation is viewed as a common thoroughfare, with those excelling in this skill attaining the highest caste. The Republic is essentially a space car club whose members obsess over rapidity, engage in mild drag racing, and evaluate everything based on its acceleration in arbitrary units of their own devising. In the pursuit of velocity, positions of power are granted to the fastest, and scientific endeavours focus on enhancing celerity, whether that is through afterburners, hyperdrives, or just red paint. The Maganid, once scattered throughout the galaxy, found a haven on Tillan. What sets apart these Maganid from their lost cousins, however, is their need for speed. As deeply spiritual beings, the Maganid of Tillan believe in a universal acceleration that binds together all life, and offers every race the opportunity to become the fastest. The blessed Tillan Republic stands tall, believing themselves to be a unique and determined people, ready to chase velocity between the stars. In their pursuit of dominance, these factions will face fresh challenges and uncover novel insights. They will venture into uncharted territories, but encounter strangely familiar species, and confront previously unknown threats. But who will solve the Googolplex problem? And what will it mean when they do? This concludes an introduction to the Saurian Diaspora Timeline. Please refer to the next chapter of this report for further details on the Saurian Diaspora Timeline.